So there's a lot of people who wrongly believe that Yoshikage Kira is a serial killer terrorizing Moriocho. Now, given how he was betrayed early on in the part, this is kind of understandable, especially given the fact that his introduction implied that he did something grotesque and horrible to some unnamed woman. But the truth is, Yoshikage Kira is not only innocent, but has a strong distaste for murderers and thugs who live in Moriocho. This makes sense since he takes after his mother, Holly Joestar Kira.
Hey, I gotta get back to you. I'm about to get into something.
So Yoshikage Kira from Part 4 and Part 8 share a lot of similar traits, but one of the things a lot of people like to bring up is that Part 8 Kira is also a serial killer, and this couldn't be further from the truth. Now, this confusion mostly comes from the first arc of Jojolion. You see, in the first arc, Gappy and Yasuo find their way to Kira's house, and they find that he has multiple of the same outfits, and has a lot of weird hobbies, such as collecting sculptures of hands and saving his fingernail clippings, which these hobbies can be found in the original universe Kira, but only on the surface level. Though the most damning thing among Kira's house is the photo album containing images of a woman being abused by what looks like Kira. You also have Ojiro's statement that said Kira spoke in a tone that made him imagine that he could commit murder. So with the photo album and the statement combined with everything else in the house led people to believe that Kira used to be a serial killer, much like his name would imply, and his alternate universe counterpart. I mean, his name is Kira after all, right? I mean, they also both have killer queens, so that must imply that they have like similar souls and personality or something, right? If Kira in Part 8's Killer Queen is the same as Kira's from Part 4's Killer Queen, then they must be the same. Well, let me tell you why this isn't true. So first off, yes, Yoshikage Kira from Part 8 does collect his fingernail clippings, and though it's a weird hobby, it doesn't seem to be anything more than a wink and a nod at Araki's previous work. Though the sculptures of his hands become something very different very quickly, when you find out that they are not sculptures of other people's hands, but of Kira's own hands. This implies that Kira in Part 8 doesn't sexualize other people's hands, but is egotistical about his own hands, which even Ojiro describes as being unforgettably beautiful. Next, the photo album. It isn't Kira in the photos, it's Ojiro dressed up as Kira. He even admits to booby-trapping the entire house and dressing up like Kira and torturing girls that he kidnaps. This statement is backed up by the kidnapped woman who confirms that Ojiro kidnapped her. We also see in Ojiro's flashback that he did this sort of thing often, as this is what he enjoyed doing, even before he met Kira. Then you have the murderous tone Ojiro could hear in his voice. This is because Kira just watched Ojiro abuse his power over someone who couldn't defend themselves even if they tried. Kira's voice shows his disgust in the actions of Ojiro, who is most likely the serial killer of the two. Because, I mean, Kira actively verbally harasses Ojiro and beats him as punishment for abusing his power. And through this punishment, Kira drives Ojiro to the point of biting his fingertips completely off, because Kira told him it was the only way to prove himself as a man and gain forgiveness. Also, though Kira's name can mean killer, it doesn't solely mean that. If we break down the kanji used to make his name, we just get good luck. And then you combine that with his given name, Yoshikage, which also means shadow luck. But then we get to realize that he was named Lucky twice, given that in the mind of Holly, he was her lucky charm. After all, she did bring him to the hospital to help out in emergency situations, and this is because his stand, Killer Queen, is very helpful in the hospital now because it's very different. So Killer Queen is not the exact same Killer Queen from Part 4. Its ability is slightly different now. The main differences being the slight design change, no more Bomb 1, and it's able to summon and fully control multiple sheer heart attacks and create them at any size that Kira pleases. So it's overall a more refined version of Killer Queen. Now, I want to go further into detail about Kira in Part 8, but I think I'll save that for a Beauty of Yoshikage Kira video in the future. I just wanted to make this short video just so I have it in case I see people make this argument ever again. Though, to be fair, a lot of people only thought this way during the early runs of Jojolion, since Kira's history wasn't really too much talked about, and since then, no one really talks about Kira's history since he hasn't been important in a long time. I still want to have this video to clear up any confusion in the future. And if you enjoyed this video and want to help support more videos like it, I have a Patreon over at patreon.com/MediNotTheBadGuy. And if you want to experience life from a different universe, head on over to funimation.com/show/Shimonetta. A boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist. Or you can head on over to amazon.com and purchase yourself a copy of Shimonetta. It's probably like Black Friday. This is probably something good. You can probably find a pretty good deal on anime.